On today's Question of Faith, is it okay to parish hop? Hey everybody, this is Question of Faith. I am Mike Hayes. I'm the Young Adult Ministry Director in the Diocese of Cleveland.
And I'm Father Damian Ference, the Vicar for Evangelization.
And I'm Maria Wankata from the Marriage and Family Ministry Office.
Maria's back. Always good. So, I think that you might have some experience in parish hopping, if I remember correctly. I've had some experience in parish hopping myself. Father Damian, have you had experience in parish hopping?
Well, mine was a strange situation because my high school youth ministry, campus ministry program was kind of run like a college campus ministry.
Oh.
So I used to go to my high school for a 7 p.m. Mass every Sunday.
Oh.
And I guess that's kind of parish hopping, but I wasn't hopping to a parish. I was hopping to my high school chapel.
Got it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's a
interesting.
unique sort of hop.
Yeah. It's sort of like a campus ministry, college students coming back to campus ministry after they've graduated. I've seen that happen too. Instead of going to the local parish, they just come back to where they did campus ministry.
Yeah.
But anyway, Maria, I know you've had some experience in this.
Yeah, so I'd say my family, we split our time between two parishes. So I grew up at St. Rocco in Cleveland. So my parents, when they got married, they settled right by St. Rocco. Then they started to move out a little bit to like the edges of Cleveland and Parma, but we always stayed at St. Rocco. And then my husband, he grew up in Middleburg Heights, Strongsville area and went to St. Joe's and SJJ school out there. So
SJJ is St. Joe's and John's.
Yes,
okay.
Interparochial school. So when we got married and we moved out, we settled in Strongsville and our kids started going to school there. And as they're getting older, we're kind of splitting our time now between the two parishes. But then we travel a lot for sports.
Yeah, right.
So in the summer, spring, fall, we tend to be at different parishes all the time, depending on what city we're in, and trying to get Mass in between sports, not because we're not going to give up one or the other.
Sure, right, and nor should you, right? Sports are important. Being physically active is important.
But as my husband and I got married, and we settled out in the suburbs. I couldn't let my relationship with St. Rocco go, so we just make it work. We're very active at that parish, and now with our kids at St. Joe's, we're becoming very active at that parish too.
Wow.
Now, would you consider that parish hopping? And do you belong to both parishes? That's a question too. Like, are you registered? Because if you have kids at the school, there is a formal relationship there.
There's a formal relationship. It was a conversation we had with Father Joe because we were upfront that we do belong to St. Rocco, but we want our kids to go here, and he understood that. And they know it's a very open thing. They know that we split our time between the two.
Yeah.
Wow. That's an interesting situation. Like, I don't know if I've come across that before. I'm trying to think about it.
I actually have a similar situation that I was born at Deaconess Hospital in Cleveland, baptized down at St. Wendelin, and that was the family parish going back to my grandparents who were Slovak immigrants who came to the United States in 1910. And St. Wendelin is still a Slovak parish, so that's where I grew up, but was raised actually in Parma, 3 streets south of St. Charles. But I didn't go to St. Charles grade school. I went to Incarnate Word Academy, which is in Parma Heights. So I went to St. Wendelin growing up, went to Incarnate Word Academy. But because St. Wendelin is a nationality parish, we belonged both to St. Wendelin and St. Charles. Although it wasn't until high school where I started to go into St. Charles more and more, and then daily Mass. And then when I entered seminary, I entered in under the sponsorship of St. Charles. So, but I don't know if that's the kind of parish hopping that it's actually two places and one's nationality and tradition as much as it is, well, I kind of like this place for this and that place for that. And I think that's more of what parish hopping means. No?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, like I'll take myself as an example. So like when I moved here, I said, well, where should I go to church? And so I asked one of my former students who lives here, I said, hey, where do you go to church? And she said, well, she said, like you, Maria, she said, sometimes we have to balance this around sports. She said, so most of the time we go to St. Chris's, unless they have sports on Sunday morning, and then we go to a night mass, usually at St. Luke's. Yeah. And she said, both of those parishes are fine, and she said, they're both near your house, so why don't you try both of them, see which one you like. And it turns out that's not even my geographic parish. My geographic parish is Transfiguration, which is an older parish, right? And so like we went there once and we're like, wow, we are the youngest people here, and we're in our 50s. This is not our jam. Let's go try one of these other parishes. And we found like more of the ministries, I think at St. Luke's, seemed to speak to us a little bit more. I'm sorry, more of the ministries at St. Chris's seemed to speak to us more. And so we said, well, let's try there first. And Father Klebo had given us such a great welcome as, we made an appointment to go visit him. And we're like, okay, how can we not go here now after all that? Yeah. And then we ended up at St. Luke's for Field Ed for the deacon program the next year. So we got a taste of a little bit of both of them. But St. Chris's is still our parish, and it's where we would prefer to worship on a regular basis.
Yeah. It's probably more common, like when you move or you relocate and you try out different parishes around you until you maybe find the feeling of which one is the one you belong in.
Yeah, and I guess the challenge, I think, is is it all about you, right? Let's put it this way. So should you search around for a parish where you really feel welcome and you feel like you belong and you feel like this is reflective of how you want to worship, or do you go to your geographic parish and try to help make that a place that is maybe more welcoming to others if it's not, or if it's a place that's lacking in a certain ministry that you have gifts for? Do you try to turn it around and offer that to the parish, make it a different place? I don't know. It depends on how open people are to you as well, I guess.
Yeah.
And how open you are to other people as well.
Right, vice versa. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, do you learn a little bit about this parish? And I've done both. I've been in a bunch of different parishes, not here, but in other places that I've lived, where I said, well, okay, this isn't where I would normally choose to live, but let's give it a chance and let's see what can come of this.
I know a lot of folks are drawn to certain parishes, yes, for liturgies, but also for particular ministries.
Yeah.
So, for example, at St. Mary's in Hudson, they have a dynamite youth program. I'm thinking St. Helen in Newberry is similar. St. Barnabas in Northfield is similar. St. Basil the Great is similar. So a lot of families will go there because they want their young people involved in a dynamic youth program. And now they may still go to their home parish. We have a seminarian who does that, but he goes to youth ministry at one place, but then comes back here for another. So I do think that's becoming increasingly popular. Like for our young adult community, a lot of them like to go to St. Columkille on Sunday nights, though all of them don't go to Mass there. But
Correct.
if there's energy and something happening in a particular place, why not go there?
And other parishes are sort of noticing that trend too. Like if they might have a really good youth ministry, like let's just say St. Basil's, for instance, they might not have a great young adult ministry. So they said we send a lot of our young adults over to St. Columkille's for young adult ministry, even though they worship here for Sunday morning. You know, so we're starting to learn to be less parochial about the ministry side of things.
Yeah, and that's what I was just going to say. So in our situation, St. Rocco's doesn't have a youth ministry program. It's just not the way that the environment is right there. So my daughter, she's in 8th grade. She does the youth ministry at St. Joe's now, and it is a vibrant, great youth group there. So, and I don't want to take away from an inner city parish, but to get the whole needs of our family met, we kind of have to do it that way right now.
Speaking of St. John Newman, have you been to their Life Teen Mass there?
I've not, but I know there's kids in her class that do.
Their music ministry is outstanding. They're really good. They even have a drummer, so some people don't like drummers, but if done well, it could be really good. But he's even behind the plexiglass.
Yeah.
But the music is not over the top. It's very reverent, but it's really, really good. If you like contemporary worship music. And it's Catholic.
Yeah. Where is that parish? I'm not familiar.
Right on 42. It's actually just south of St. Joe's. So St. Joe's is on the northern part of Strongsville, and St. John Newman is on the southern part. And then the next parish you'll hit would be St. Ambrose up the road, with Colette's over on the south east quadrant of Brecksville. But John Newman is still in Strongsville.
Yeah. So there's in Strongsville, there's the north and the south, and it can take you a long time to get to either side of town.
Yeah, 82 is the big divider, and it could take you 10 minutes to get down there when it's probably 2 miles, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like you ride your bike at night, you'd get there in a heartbeat. But
maybe I just drove past it and see it. Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, no, but I think that seems to be a growing trend. That there's ministries in certain parishes, and we've talked about this, right? We've said does one church have to do everything? Well, it'd be a shame if one church had to do everything because they couldn't.
Right.
They might not have the skills or the staff or the money or all those kinds of things, and so we have to sort of think about well, do we have to do marriage preparation as a parish? Could somebody else do that and then send them back here for the wedding?
Yeah, and that's very common. So in our office, we get a lot of calls of either people coming back into town and looking for a recommendation, and then something else we're building out is this whole marriage mentor program where we can have diocesan certified marriage mentors to help people and accompany them if a certain parish can't sustain that ministry on their own.
Yeah, so that's it. So how should we go about this? Like if I were new to a city and I was looking for a parish, and maybe let's take you as an example, Maria. Like maybe I have a young family and I'm looking for a place. And so what are my needs? My needs are a good youth ministry for my teenage son, let's say, and I need a good school for my 7-year-olds. And by the way, we count too. Mom and dad want a place where they feel comfortable and welcome, and maybe they can participate in different ministries that speak to them. They want to be a lector, or maybe they want to serve the needs of the poor. How do we think we should go about researching this and looking to find out what we need most?
Well, where was I the other day? And someone was saying for 40-year-olds and younger, the first place they always go is the internet, which is fine, and you can learn a lot there. But the way you learn most is by diving in. So I think visiting places is great. And I should say, too, the fact that we're even asking about is parish hopping okay, there's a great desire. If you're parish hopping, then you have desires that want to be met, and realizing that no parish can meet every desire and do everything well, but searching for something that can help you grow in your spiritual life. And then I think once you've established that, then maybe the second part of the question comes in. Okay, now that I'm finding myself being fed, now how do I go and feed others, and what am I being called to do? So I was at a parish last week at St. Mary of the Falls in Olmsted Township. I went for 9 nights on Tuesday night, and then I slept over in the rectory because they have a men's group that meets at 6 a.m. On Wednesday mornings, which is pretty fantastic. There were over 30 guys there.
Wow.
That's pretty awesome to have a vibrant men's group that meets at 6 a.m. But I went. Yeah, it was good. But that's my take. I think if your faith is so important to you that you want to hop around and find a place where you're being fed, or find maybe mass times that work for you, that's great. Another place I help out pretty regularly is Holy Rosary in Little Italy. They have an 8 p.m. Sunday Mass. And so they get doctors and nurses from UH and the clinic, but also a bunch of kids from Case Western Reserve University and a lot of East Siders where that's the way that they close their Sunday. And it's a nice, beautiful Mass. And they get music from the Cleveland Institute of Music. It's pretty rad there. You get an oboe player up in the...
very nice. Yeah.
I'd say to answer your question, Mike, I think like when we travel, I always go on the internet and look at the parishes and like even if they have like live streams available, I'll even watch the videos to see what the church and Mass looks like. But I think another way is looking for different events and stuff and getting involved in meeting other people. I mean, parish is built not on the pastor, but on the people of the community. So finding what group and people you might fit in with and get along with to make the parish even stronger.
Yeah, I think 2 things I wanted to say about this. One, I've done this workshop now for 20 years probably about well, what does your parish website say about you, right? Because that's going to be the first place that most people look to find out information about your parish, and if they're searching around, they're going to make some judgments based on you. So you need to make this as good as you can. So what's the real highlight of the parish? You have to feature that on the homepage. By the way, first thing you should have on the homepage is what time is Mass, right? You'd be surprised how many people don't have that on their homepage. I'm seeing it less and less now that people have kind of caught on. But in the early days of the internet, people didn't have what time Mass was. I was like, what time is Mass? But I think that if you had like a lot of parishes now are starting to stop the live stream from from the pandemic time, and I've cautioned a few places. I said if you want to stop the live stream, that's fine. I said, but you should still have at least a little snippet of what Mass is like here, because people are kind of making their judgments about whether they want to come here or not based on those kinds of things. If you don't have it, they might just skip over you.
Yeah,
and say cannot determine.
I say, like, even as we've traveled and gone to different parishes, we can say, oh, well, this church, they did it like St. Rocco, or this church, they have this like St. Joe's. So, like, it's, in a way, it's almost fun to compare notes of just little slight changes in liturgy or different prayers or rituals that each parish will do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the other thing that you mentioned this a little bit earlier, Father, is think about the great desire that people have to kind of get it all together. Like, okay, I may not have everything I need at this one parish, but I certainly want a good youth ministry for my teenager, or I certainly, I have a college student. They would want to come back after college. They were away for school and they want to come back and be engaged in something. So, what parish does that pretty well? Do they do young adult ministry pretty well? And we can send them around. They don't have to go to liturgy at the same place they do all these other things. So, maybe it's not so much parish hopping as ministry hopping.
Yeah.
Might be what we're talking about a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And I think sharing the ministries and the treasures and the gifts as a diocese, the anti-disintegration or the anti-siloing, the integration of our parishes and our ministries, and the collaboration is where it's at. So I think the parish hopping, the desire of finding a place where one can flourish in his or her faith is really great. And then diving deeply in and figuring out then how you can help others flourish in their faith too.
Yeah, all sounds good. Yeah. So is it okay to parish hop? Yes, sort of, right? Yeah, why not? We do it. You might as well. You might as well do it too.
But it is eventually good to find a place to rest.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a place.
To have a home.
A place you go on the reg. Yeah.
And if you want to be a godfather or a godmother and get you want a place that will hold your sacraments, and probably have to bring Molly Cooligan to make sure we're doing all this canonically correct. But you do want to be a member of a parish.
Right.
That's important. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So speaking of parishes, we go to a parish every week here on Question of Faith. And so this week we're going to go where?
We're going to go to St. Rocco's in Cleveland.
Well, that's yours, right?
Yeah.
On Fulton.
On Fulton Road. Mm-hmm. It is, as Father James says, the oldest Italian parish on Cleveland's west side.
Oh, bene.
Yeah, molto bene. Yeah. And what do you like? You said a little bit about what you like there, but...
Yeah, it has a rich tradition of, Italian tradition. So the one unique thing about the parish is that its annual parish festival is older than the church itself.
That's
so
great.
So the Italian immigrants started a street fair, I want to say 10 or so years before the parish was even founded in honor of St. Rocco. So
being married to an Italian, I want to say, of course it is.
Yes.
Of course the feast is older than the church itself.
Best Italian food.
As you put your finger, you can't see, she had her two fingers and her thumb together. Best Italian food. Are you Italian, Maria?
I am.
What's your maiden name?
Toth, which is Hungarian.
Oh.
My dad is Hungarian and Italian.
Okay. What's the Italian name in the family? Saletti.
Yeah.
It's probably with a C?
C.
So it's probably Cialetti.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I know at the St. Rocco Fair, they have a greased pole, and that's the contest to climb the greased pole. And the food is outstanding there. Man, it's so good.
Yeah.
When we used to drive back to Parma from St. Wendell, and sometimes we would take West 25th, but other times we take the Fulton Road, and we used to pass St. Rocco's, and then Blessed Sacrament was down the street, which is closed now, and yeah, that's fun. There's so many great parishes in Cleveland.
Yeah. Yeah, we still do the Good Friday procession. We'll do over Labor Day weekend with the festival. We'll do a procession out in the streets, Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so still try to do a lot of ministry evangelization work in the
Yeah.
neighborhood.
We ought to do 9 nights a night prayer there one of these rounds.
a
That would
good
be a
idea.
great place to have it. It's a nice church.
Bringing me back to my youth, I grew up in Our Lady of Mount Carmel Parish in Yonkers, New York, which was an Italian parish, and we did all those kinds of street festivals and everything. And in fact, at Our Lady of Mount Carmel West here, they have a big sort of bizarre festival, lawn fete, whatever you want to call it. And I remember walking in, and I said to Marion, I said, wow, I have the largest memory right now sort of being a kid and being at these kinds of things.
So those two parishes are staffed by Mercedarian priests. So my good friend Father James Chia is at Our Lady of Mount Carmel now, and then Father James at St. Rocco.
And Father James Mayer is a Holy Name grad.
Oh,
He's
there you
about
go.
10 years older than I am. Yeah.
Where all good things come from. And our
Some good things.
Our gospel for the fourth Sunday of Advent is from Matthew. This is how the birth of Jesus Christ came about, when his mother Mary was betrothed to Joseph, but before they lived together, she was found with child through the Holy Spirit. Joseph, her husband, since he was a righteous man, yet unwilling to expose her to shame, decided to divorce her quietly. We'll leave you hanging there. What happened next? Dream, dream.
Well, both, I mean, we often talk about Mary's fiat, but Joseph had a fiat too.
Yeah,
they both
absolutely.
had to be open to God's will, and it wasn't in the way that they expected it would turn out, which is so much of Christian living. It's like saying yes to God when he calls you.
Yeah, and Joseph is a silent saint. He has no lines in all of Scripture. So notice that in the Gospels where Joseph doesn't say anything. But, that's like many of us, right? We all lead kind of quiet lives. And so Joseph is the saint of people who lead quiet lives.
I need to be more quiet in my life, I think.
Not on the podcast, though.
No.
That wouldn't be good.
It's going to start as soon as we're done.
Exactly. And so that's a question of faith this week. So if you're parish hopping, let us know your parish hopping experiences. You can do that by emailing us. You can email me, mhayes@dioceseofcleveland.org. And you catch us here each and every week on Question of Faith.